Malik, can you brief about yourself? Hello, Malik. Are you able to experience in SAP in which past 9 years I'm working on SAP project systems, and I handle different projects like implementation, rollout, support, enhancements, okay, upgradation projects, and the industry sectors in which I worked for is utilities, your power sector, construction, automobile, and manufacturing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just I will give you a brief.
Into Santosh.
Yeah, tell me.
Which company you're working for?
Right now I'm working for Capgemini.
Okay. How long you're working in Capgemini?
Since 8 years I'm there.
Okay. Fine then.
Okay.
You're in Bangalore or you're in Hyderabad?
Bangalore.
You're in Bangalore.
Yeah, correct.
But how come you're okay? You are logging in Bangalore, is it?
Yeah, it's online only, right?
Okay, though the thing is I'm located in Bangalore. That is the reason I'm just asking you. I'm not in
Okay.
Hyderabad.
Okay. So
you're working for Bangalore Capgemini, is it?
yeah.
Okay.
So here, yeah, the project systems, SAP project systems is nothing but it is a different models SAP is having, like your SG, your MM, your FI. Sorry?
Your PPT I couldn't able to see.
You're not able to see?
No. Just a minute.
Yeah. So what is this SAP project systems is? In SAP there are different modules, right? For each domain we have one module. Like for SG, sales and distribution, we have a sales module. For MM, materials, we have a material management module. Like your financials or accounting, we have a FI and CO module. For production of any material, we have a production planning module. So in such a way, for monitoring or for engaging of a projects or for end-to-end tracking the project, we have a module called as a project systems. So basically, what is a project? Okay. A project, I'm just explaining the domain terminology of a project. The same thing we can leverage into SAP. Project is nothing but it is a predefined goals or predefined objectives which we have to accomplish within a time frame, within a given time frame and within the allocated budget, okay, with the resources available and the material available. So let's say for example, one example I will tell. So you want to construct a building, okay, so you want to construct a building and that is your objective. So for construction of a building you have a time of, let's say, 6 months. And what is the budget? Okay, for construction of a building you have a budget called as 40 crores or 40 lakhs for example. And what are the resources available? You will be having some material resources and you also have some time, that is labor resources. So now you put entire definition into one frame. So what will happen? You want to accomplish a building, construction of a building within the 6 months of a time frame with the allocated budget of 50 lakhs and the number of resources, your labor resources will be provided and your material resources will be provided. So utilizing all these resources, time and budget, you are just accomplishing the task. So within this you are just monitoring what is my cost incurred for entire building and what is the time frame and how many members of resources are assigned for this and what kind of materials are procured. So you want to procure all these things or you want to utilize all these things or if you want to monitor all these things. That is a project definition. The same thing if you convert into SAP project systems or SAP, it is a time frame or it is a framework in which you are accomplishing the task or you are accomplishing the project with a stipulated budget and stipulated time frame with the allocated resources and allocated material you are accomplishing or you are finishing the task. So that is the same thing, but here we have some Dates, we have to plan for the dates, we have to monitor the dates, we have to plan for cost, we have to monitor the cost. So that is a definition. So there is no difference from your SAP definition to the normal domain definition. So here in the SAP, we have different kinds of projects. Even the normal domain also, let's say customer projects, investment projects, and overheads. So that is what the slide is showing. Project types are customer, investment, and overhead. So what is this customer, investment, and overhead? Investment projects are something which are used or which are planned for your own company. So out of which you are not generating any revenue. Okay. So those are all called as a investment projects. Let's say, for example, you are into one company. Okay. In your company, you want to manufacture or you want to construct a plant. New plant. You already have one plant and you want to go for a new plant. So for that plant, you are doing some investment. You are just putting some extra amount or extra effort for constructing a new plant. What is the use of that new plant is just it is only useful for your increasing the production capacity of your company. So are you getting anything out of that plant? You are getting only just production, right? So you are not selling it, you are not generating any revenue out of it. You are just utilizing the plant and you are not selling to any customer. It is only for your specific purpose. So such a projects are called as investment projects. And there are also projects which are given to customers. Let's say the same plant you are constructing for some customer. So that projects are called as a customer projects. While selling the project to a customer, you are generating a revenue. That is called as a in customer projects. And there is a one more project, a third kind of a project where your indirect cost will be there. So that is nothing but, let's say for example, you have a water cost, or you have a stationary cost, or you have power bill, electricity bill, or you have a sales representative cost, or your campaign cost, product campaign, or advertisement cost. So these are all not directly part of your production, but these are all additional costs which are incurring. So those are all called as a overhead in the SAP terminology. Overhead something, but these are all some additional costs which are incurred, which are not directly part of your production. So if you monitor that additional cost or indirect cost, and if you want to control such cost, we are also doing some projects called as overhead. So these are the project types and the industry sectors in which project systems can be used is your construction, your manufacturing, your telecommunications, IS utilities, transportation, chemical, okay, automobile, your manufacturing. So whatever the sector you take, SAP project systems can be useful for monitoring the projects. Okay, is it clear on this first slide?
Yeah.
Okay, so just I'm going for the next slide. So this is where your project, entire your project functionalities will be used. So what are there in the project? I will show you here. So SAP project system functions are such as your project definition. You will have a project definition which talks about what kind of a project you are doing, whether it's a construction project or construction of equipment or construction of a manufacturing of a turbine, or whatever the project you are doing, that is a project definition. So the name given for your activity is called the project definition. Okay, and WBS is the second level. If you take the project definition, it's the first level, and WBS is nothing but it is a framework to define entire hierarchy of your project. For example, if you take a manufacturing of a laptops, okay, so your company is manufacturing laptops, and what is the hierarchy in which you can manufacture laptop? So first example, for example, first of all, laptop design should be there. The laptop structure should be there, right? So if you want to manufacture laptop, what is a laptop? The configuration of a laptop is nothing but your design. Okay, so your layout, you will be saying, okay, my laptop should be, the monitor should be, the screen should be 17 inches. Okay, the keyboard should be in this German language or English language, or the structure should be like this. The keyboard, the width of the keyboard should be like this, and it should be, processor should be a hardcore processor, or it should have Intel processor, or the motherboard of this variety, or you have a RAM of 8 GB. or you have a hard disk of let's say 1 terabyte. So these are the different configurations you are defining, specifying while you are manufacturing. So your end product, to derive an end product, first of all you should have some blueprint. So that is nothing but the first level, correct? So after this you will go, okay, I have a layout, I have a design, I have a specification, I have a configuration. So to arrive to that configuration, let's motherboard. So I want a motherboard, these are the parts. Motherboard is a part, ROM is a part, your hard disk is a part, or your keyboard is a part, or your mouse is a part, or screen is a part. So these are the different parts I want to procure or I want to get to assemble the laptop. So let's say for example your laptop motherboard you are procuring from outside, and you have a hard disk which you have a capacity to produce inside. So the second phase will be, you will segregate what are the materials you want to produce internally and what are the materials you want to get it from external. So let's say for example motherboard is a one material you want to procure from a vendor who is supplying. Now normally it will be Nvidia, or you can also get some Samsung, so or you can get from any other Acer something, or whatever their motherboard is produced. So you will just find out, okay, in the procurement phase I want to procure motherboard, I want to get a ROM, or I want to get a hard disk. And in the next phase after the procurement you are just producing. So you have a capacity to produce your screens, or you have a capacity to produce your keyboard or mouse. So what are the different ways you are producing? So this will be your phases. First phase is your design phase, second phase is your procurement, third phase is your production, and fourth phase, once you get all the materials you will just assemble. Okay, after the assembling you are doing a testing. So first phase is nothing but your layout designing, second phase is nothing but your procurement of materials, third phase is nothing but your manufacturing of materials, fourth phase is assemble, and fifth phase is testing. So put together all these activities, it is called as a WBS structure, work breakdown structure. Are you clear on this? Okay, the second, after WBS you will go for a network. So what is a network? So network is nothing but is a detailed control of your each phase. WBS is a hierarchy, what phase should follow what. Network is within the phase, it's what is a detailed phase, a detailed flow. For example, if you take a network of manufacturing of a laptop or manufacturing of some products. So what you will do for manufacturing, you should get a raw materials, you should do production activities, you should make, you should find what is the cost incurred. Okay, for example, if you are selling, so just you will get a quotations, you will get a sales order will be created, you will be delivering and you will be billing. The same way if you go for flow. So network will control what flow you are doing. Okay, which module is covered and how that will be covered. Flow is nothing but network. Okay, hierarchy is nothing but WBS, flow is nothing but your network. And activities within the network, what activities you are doing. Let's say for example you are procuring. So how you are procuring, whether it is internal procurement or external procurement. If it is the internal procurement, okay, so that is your reservation will be generated for material. If it is external procurement, so then it is created with a purchase requisition. So these are the different varieties of your procurement or different kinds of procurement. So this is controlled by using the activity. So network is a header and activity is an item. Within the flow we have a network header, we have a network item. So then you will come for a milestones. Milestones is nothing but a specific target date you have to complete some activity. So once you reach that milestone, so you are telling to the system, okay, I have reached that milestone, so it should trigger subsequent activity. So that is called as a milestone. Milestone basically it is called as a to derive or to start a next activity. So this first activity should be completed. Okay, so when you are completing this first activity, immediately the second activity should trigger. That is, you are just defining some milestones. Okay, I reach this milestone. Let's say milestone of your layout. Once you complete the milestone of a layout, so you will define, okay, layout has to be configured or layout has to be designed within 10 days. So on the 10th day, you will just trigger a milestone saying, okay, my layout has done, and it should start the next phase. So there is nothing but it is a triggering point to start the next phase. Milestone is you predefine a triggering point which should start the next phase. And documentations are nothing but your blueprints or your Word documents, any kind of your Excel sheets or screenshots, whatever it is, if you want to add to a project, so that is a document. And project simulation and project versions are, before you do actual postings to F5, you will simulate. You will just see whether my postings are correct or not. And project versions, we have a plan version, we have actual version, we have some specific versions of a project where the project can be posted, planned, actuals, your result analysis, your variance. So these are the actual versions. And dates planning is you're planning for a date, when the project should start, when it should complete the first phase, when it should start the second phase, and where there is any relation between these two, any constraints you want to put, all these things will be done in the dates planning. Resource planning is you're planning for your people who are working. Like for example, you have a assembly, you are testing. So for testing, how many people should be engaged for testing? Or how many people should be engaged for your final production? Or how many people should be engaged for your procurement? So these are the people, whether you can procure, whether you can allocate the people from your own organization, or you can outsource this work to some other external organizations. Okay, so that is nothing but your resource planning. And next one is the material planning. So let's say I said initially, like your motherboard, your hard disk, or your RAM, or your or I can say any kind of a keyboard or mouse or screens or your any kind. It is, these are all materials. How you are planning those materials. And cost planning, like for example, if you are procuring some material from the external team or external vendor, so what is the cost incurred for producing? Let's say you have two vendors. One vendor is giving you for $100. Another vendor is giving only for $90. So what is the difference between these two, whether you have a quality is met or not, and you will see remaining all things, and based on that you will plan for the cost. So if you procure that material, $100 you have to go to a vendor. So that is your plan, cost.
Hello?
Payments also. Yeah, tell me, Sunita. Yeah, Sunita, tell me.
Hello?
Yeah.
Resource planning is talking about, is it? Here, like, resource billing, how we going to do here?
No, this resource is different. Resource planning is something we are planning for your internal team who are working. That billing is resource related billing, that is, it will come under the revenue part. That is different. I have not covered till that level. This resource is only your labor or your technicians who are working. Okay, so and at the end of the day, when you are billing this, that is comes under resource related billing. How you are billing, so that is a resource related billing to customer. So now we are only planning for resources, how many people has to work. Is it clear? Hello?
No, I couldn't able to concentrate. Here a lot of disturbance came, so I couldn't able to.
Disturbances from where you are getting your audio?
My team, actually, I'm just living in my office. So here
Oh, okay.
everyone that came, so they was asking me something, so I couldn't able to concentrate on that. So
Okay.
can you repeat
No,
like how resource related building it will be working on?
yeah, resource related billing is, let's say you engage 10 people to work on the activity testing. And for
Okay.
testing, you need some equipments. Let's say, for example, you need some kind of CAD tool or CAM tool for testing. So 10 people, if you are engaged 10 people, how much you have to pay for 10 people? So let's say each employee or each person is charging some $10 per day. So for 10 people, how much you are charging? So for 10 people into 10, that is $100. And for equipments, the tools you are procuring from external vendor or internally you are using. So let's say $100 is again you are putting. So when you are billing, this 100 plus 100 is your final billing, right? You have to bill this as a final billing to the customer. So I engage 10 people for doing this and engage 10 resources or 10 equipments. So this is my cost, and this is the cost I'm transferring to you, and you have to pay. On top of that one, you will include some margin, profit margin, 10% or 20%. So that is where you are giving using a resource related billing.
Okay.
And payments is nothing but you are owing. So whatever you owe to vendor, that is called as a payment. How you owe to vendor, how you are settling. And budget and availabilities, like what is the budget allocated for doing this activity, and whether my budget, I am within the budget, or my cost is incurring more than the budget. So that is nothing but your budget. You will be having approvals, your management will give you.
Hello?
Yeah, I didn't get you the last point. So what is it? What is that you have question?
The resource related billing itself, how DIP it will be working on?
Resource related billing is a concept which, in the back end, the basic configuration will be or DIP profile. DIP is nothing but how many resources you are using, how many materials you are consuming, and what is the cost, so that you are billing using a DIP profile.
Okay, the DIP is nothing but what exactly
Yeah.
you mean to say in short note?
Yeah. Yeah, that is the DIP profile.
I'm sorry?
The resource related billing is nothing but your DIP profile. The back end configuration is DIP profile, and RRB is nothing but the process.
Okay.
Okay. And commitments are your purchase requisitions and purchase orders. Actual data is whatever you planned when you are doing the actual postings, like dates planning. You confirmed, okay, you planned for today, but you confirmed on tomorrow. That is your actuals. You plan 10 resources and you are engaging 20 resources. That is your actual resources. And you confirmed 10 materials, but you are posting 20 materials. That is your actual data.
Okay.
Progress monitoring. Progress monitoring. We have different tools like. Today, what is the status? So let's say, for example, today we have to complete the one phase, but today we are just lagging, or day before yesterday itself we completed the status, so that we have a status profiles used for monitoring. Period end closing is your integration to your CO, like your overhead cost calculation, your settlements, your result analysis keys, all those things will be done in the period end closings. So information systems is like reporting purpose. How we have different reports, like your cost report, your planning report, dates planning, your budget report, like for example your revenue planning. So all these things will be there in the information system. It's a reporting. And integration with other applications like your SG, your MM, your FI, your PP, your CO. In case of your plant maintenance, these are the different models where we can see the integrations.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the next slide, which talks about clearly on WBS. Whatever I explained, this is depicted in the pictorial way. So we have a dates, we have a budget, we can plan for cost, we can plan for revenue, we can plan for payment, we can plan for periodic processing, and we can also plan for the commitments at the budgeting level, at the project level. Network is a flow. We can plan for milestones, we can plan for your materials here additionally. And at work activities are, we have 4 kinds of activities: internal, external, general, cost, and services. What is the internal is, if your own team is working, if your own persons are engaged within your work center or within your plant, so that is called the internal. If you outsource it to some other vendors, that is called the external. And general cost is, let's say you have insurance for some equipments, or you have a traveling cost, or you have a accommodation cost, or you have a hotel expenditure. So those all comes under a general cost. Okay, so materials, how, in what ways we can procure the materials? We have our reservations, we have a procurement, assembly, and deliveries. So these are the different ways we can procure a material. And integration with your MM and PP. So when you enter the material, right? So we have 2 kinds of materials, whether we can procure internally or we can procure from the external. If it is internally, we are having capacity to produce. So that is your PP integration. If you don't have a such capacity, but you want the material to be procured from external vendor, so that is your MM integration. So that is controlled using a item category L. If it is your internal planning, if it is your external, it is controlled with your N. So this is a budget, how the budget cycle will allocated, how the budget is allocated, how the budget approval will happen. Okay, so normally based on the plan, your customer is giving some budget allocation. So we have to again restrict ourselves within the budget. So if you are crossing the budget, system will alert you. Okay, so this budget is already consumed this much. So the settings will be done in the budgeting. And these are different ways of cost planning. So these are the different tools, how you are planning the cost. Let's say example, I said one resource is working for 10 days. So we have to pay for him 1 day $10, and for 10 days how much? 10 into 10, that is $100. Such a way we have n number of resources. How the planning, how monitoring can happen using these tools. Okay, this is a resource related quotation. So let's say, for example, you customer has ordered you to manufacture a car. You started the project, you designed the project, you done the procurement, you done the everything, and you will say, okay, for manufacturing such a car, my cost will be some 20 lakhs. So that is a quotation you are giving to the customer. If the customer accepts, okay, I'm agreeing with this price, you can go ahead. Then you will start the project. So this is where your resource related quotation will come. So resource related billing and quotation both are same, but quotation you will give based on the planned cost, and billing you will give based on the actual consumption. So this is your resource related billing. Okay, so finally it is a settlement. So whatever the project you have done, you have to settle, because the projects are not permanent cost collectors. They incur some cost, but finally this cost has to be given or transferred to your either a cost center or CO team. Basically, it is a transferring the cost into your CO. So that is settlement. So by this we are completing the project. So everything will be, I will show you from starting from your project preparation, project creation till the billing part. It includes all your configurations and user transactions. If you have any questions, you can ask. Similarly, if you have any questions, just you can ping.
What about you? I mean, I just shared my requirement, like I have a project I told
I
you.
saw that one. See, whatever we are covering, that's entire syllabus they put in that document, whatever you shared. So only thing is, whichever the documentation which Krishna shared to you, it is a detailed explanation. But they in your document, it is only just subtitles. So there is no difference. So they asked for entire. Yeah, they asked for entire syllabus. So there is no difference here. So I think they gave only your titles. So but we explained what is, like, for example, how he has explained the settlement. So in the document also I told you the different kinds of settlements what we have. So just I give brief explanation about each and every topic. But in your case, the document what you sent is only just titles, only just index content.
Okay. Like regular, like how you can take your classes, what time to what time.
No, that depends on your flexibility only. So we can plan that accordingly. You give 2 or 3 slots to Krishna. So based on our feasibility, we can start.
And how long